everyone! It has been a very long time since I have made a YouTube video. Honestly, I just had not felt inspired at all to make anything, but I'm back now after having an amazing trip in Mexico, and I got this incredible dolphin footage on this GoPro that Jake and I got on eBay, so it's quite an old one, but still we got some pretty good footage, and I just really felt the need to make a video and just share it with everybody so you can all see it as well and get to experience what it's like to swim with dolphins in the wild. What I thought I'd do is show you all the footage first, and then afterwards I'll do a little bit of a talk about what happened. So what happened at the start, because we went out with a marine biologist, so she did a talk at the beginning, the process of actually swimming with the dolphins, what they were like, because it was the Pacific Ocean, so do bear that in mind when watching. Obviously the water is not as clear as what you'd find in the Mediterranean, so with the footage obviously not quite so clear as it would be there. So I'll do a talk about that, how the dolphins interacted, all that kind of stuff, so that you can have a think about whether you would be interested in doing something similar if you ever get the opportunity to do so. So without further ado, here is the footage. So as I mentioned previously, this experience was in Mexico and it was based in a place called Puerto Vallarta. Now, I've not really seen these experiences in very many places. I've seen videos of a similar thing in Bali. I don't think it's done exactly the same. But yeah, it's not a very common thing to be able to go out with a marine biologist and go and experience these dolphins in their natural habitat. Obviously, you can swim with dolphins in enclosures and that kind of thing, but I would not really recommend that. It's not necessarily ethical at all. They're not good environments for the dolphins, so if you do get the choice, definitely do something like this instead. We started the day in Puerto Vallarta with a talk from the marine biologist. It was so great that she was a woman as well, super cool, and she told us about whales and dolphins, because whales, they can also visit Puerto Vallarta. This is more seasonal. I think it was like November to March kind of time, so more winter, whereas the dolphins, they are local, they stay here all year round. There are bottlenose dolphins in the area, so we got to see like part of their skeletons, so the inside of their fin, which was really cool, their teeth, and then we also got to see some parts of a whale as well, which was also really, really interesting. The talk was just long enough, so it wasn't boring, it was really, really informative. We went out on the boat and they have these devices to track down the dolphins. Obviously, they're very used to this kind of thing, so it's quite easy for them to find pods that they recognize, and that's something that's really important. It's finding a pod that they know is not tame, because obviously they're wild animals, but that are friendly, that they'll be comfortable with interacting. Obviously all wild animals have some sort of lack of being able to predict them, if that makes sense, but at least if you've recognized a pod, you know that they should be okay. So we found this really lovely friendly group. There's maybe 5 or 6, and some others did come along as well, but there was a main 5 or 6 that we kind of swam with. And then we put our goggles on. We did not have snorkels for this experience, that was not included. I did have one, but I didn't bring it because I thought they would have them, but that's okay. We just had to make sure we held our breath, which was a little bit more difficult when going underneath, but you couldn't see the dolphins underwater at a distance anyway, because like I said, it is the Pacific Ocean. It was quite gloomy, cloudy underwater, so if you were going under, you could only see a dolphin that was about that far away from you, and some definitely did come that close. If it was some more clear water, you would be able to see them at a greater distance. But you could obviously go up, see them jump, all that kind of thing as well. So it was fine. Pretty much everyone wore life jackets. I think maybe 2 people didn't, but honestly, I would recommend wearing a life jacket if you do it. Swimming after the dolphins is very hard work. They're very fast. Because the water is quite dull and you can't see, you don't really know where they're going to appear, so they will jump up out of the blue. And the crew were really brilliant for this kind of thing. They'd point out, they'd be like, dolphin, dolphin, because when you're in the water, you can't really see where they're going to come up. One might be behind you, one might be under you, like you really cannot see it. But the view from the boat is a lot clearer, so the crew would point out, and if you stayed up, you could hear quite well, so you'd know what direction to swim in and all of that kind of thing. So yeah, that was super duper helpful. The crew was so friendly overall. At one point we'd got out of the water, then we came back on the boat, we drove over to an area where there was a few more dolphins, and then we all just jumped in very quickly. There was about 10 of us on the tour, which was really nice. It was an intimate tour, and it meant that we could all kind of be in the water and it'd be safe as well, rather than all separate small groups and having to wait your turn, which is what we thought might be the case at the start because it had mentioned that. But yeah, we were very lucky. The group could have been up to 20, so obviously half of the recommended amount really. Anyway, what I was saying about life jackets is that it is very brilliant. You don't need to worry about keeping yourself up. We were in the water for about half an hour, so if you were like doggy paddling, you would have been a bit exhausted and then having to go underwater. Even if you're a strong swimmer, I do feel like that is quite a lot, but you know, up to you if you felt comfortable doing that. Although most people, like I said, did wear the life jacket, and then they could focus on actually watching the dolphins properly. When we were finished, we got back on the boat. We're all very tired, had a bit of a headache from the goggles being on for so long, and so we had just like a granola bar, some juice, all that kind of thing, and then we took the trip back. We also saw a few turtles bobbing at the top of the water and pelicans, which was really cool as well. The water was very, very warm, much warmer than anything I felt in the Mediterranean or any other kind of ocean. It was a very nice temperature. If you are ever in Puerto Vallarta, I would definitely recommend it. Or if you're going anywhere that has an ocean, have a look, see what kind of experiences are offered. We were originally going to do a snorkeling tour for marine biologists to look for turtles, rays, eels, that kind of thing. That was cancelled 5 days before, which is how we found this tour, which I'm very pleased that we did do in the end. But yeah, definitely have a look instead of going to all of these zoos, wildlife parks where you swim with animals in captivity. Try and find them out in the wild. It is a truly mesmerizing experience and so much more ethical. You see the animals in their natural habitat. They're a lot happier as well. So the dolphins, they swam up to us. They took a little while to, you know, warm up to us. They stayed at a distance for a little while, but then they swam right up. They go right next to you. You could, in theory, reach out and touch them, but you weren't allowed. Obviously, you have to respect the boundaries that this is a wild animal and, you know, not put your hands all over it. But yeah, they went very, very close. They enjoyed being playful, swimming around. I think they like the fact that you can't see where they are and they just pop out and make you jump a bit. But yeah, very, very friendly. The price of this trip was £70 a person, and it lasted for maybe 3-ish hours, and I felt it was very much worth the money. You can't really find that many things like it around, so definitely worth it. Obviously went to a local organisation, marine biologist, conservation efforts, they're doing research, so definitely worth the money. Go for it, just go and do it. If you have enjoyed this video or have any questions, please go and follow my Instagram. It is Naomi M. Pater, and that has some more videos, pictures of the dolphins and every other thing I saw in Mexico. It's going to be updated more as well. I'm hopefully going to be doing a video on all of Mexico, you know, things you need to know before going, that kind of thing. So yeah, just stay tuned. Bye.